Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our last unit of the Systemic Design course. Today we are going to focus on the evaluation of your project outcomes. But before going into the topic, let's make a short wrap-up of what we have learned until now. So you have learned how to map the flows of input and output in order to have a broad overview of what is happening in your company and in your territory. Also, you have learned how a challenge, an issue of a company can be turned into a new opportunity, not just for the company, but also for the territory in which this company is settled. In this way, you have learned how to unlock the hidden potentialities and the hidden values both of the territory and of the company. And finally, you understood how to design a complete new system where other actors, other stakeholders are collaborating together. So the initial boundaries that you have set are maybe totally changed in this new system. So now it's time to brief out because the most important and critical part of your project is done. Now it's time to zoom out and to critically assess and evaluate what you have done so far. Remember that your value as systemic designer is your ability to constantly zoom in and zoom out in the context. In this way, you are able to see the relations, the interconnections, and how one thing can have multiple impact on the territory and on the company. So where people commonly see a single solution for a single problem, you are now able to see and manage the complexity. So let's move now to the evaluation and the assessment of your project. We are going to approach this under 3 levels. The first one is to make an evaluation which is quantitative and qualitative. The second is related to envision your project under a different scale, so at the micro, meso or macro level. And finally, we are going to envision your project on a different time frame, so at short, medium and long term. Okay, so let's start from the first point. Try to understand what are the impacts of your project inside the territory under multiple perspectives. So try to question yourself on the environmental, sociocultural, economic and logistic point of view. For example, let's start from the environmental point of view. Is your project reducing the resource consumption? Are the resources looped back into the biological or technical system? Also, moving to the economic perspective, is your project enhancing the local economy? And also, thinking about the sociocultural system connected to your project, maybe thanks to the solution that you have implemented, you are taking back an old tradition or an old culture into a completely different shape. And finally, take into consideration also the logistic connected to your company. Is the initial value chain shortened thanks to your project? Try to make all this evaluation under the quantitative and qualitative perspective, making some assumption. And now let's make a further step, trying to envision your project on a different scale and on a different time frame. Considering the scale, your project can have an impact on a micro, a meso and a macro scale. The micro scale is that related to the single project, the single product that the company is running. The mesoscale is related to a group of initiatives or projects that different companies are running together. Think, for example, to industrial cluster, to consortia, and the industrial ecopark. And finally, the macro level is that one related to the policies. So think about how the regional, national or international policies are influencing, or also how your project can influence these policies. Finally, moving to envision your project in a different time scale, consider that your project and your solution may have an impact on a short, medium and long time frame. So don't be in a hurry, because things requires time to develop. So we are at the end of this lesson and at the end of the whole module of systemic design. I hope you enjoyed it and you took some inspirations for your future job, and we will wait for you in the next lesson, where we are going to have a more interactive discussion on this point.